Alright everybody, this is going to be the first run of the new format, so we'll see how it goes. I know some people have questioned kind of what my idea was, but I think there's just a misunderstanding of how I'm wanting to do this. I'm still going to show my processes along the way, but if I'm going to be painting a carapace, I'm just going to do one section of it on camera, and then I'm going to go ahead and go off camera to finish the rest of that carapace. I'm just going to show the techniques and colors and such that I'm using, but I'm not going to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes on one part and continue to record it. But here's the first section, or first part of the new format, where I'm just basically going to show the model itself. Now this is my Malan Tai. This was one of two models that Blue Table Painting had put together for me. I recognize some of the pieces from it. I'm not going to go ahead and try to describe them all here, but I know there's some I think there's a there's a warrior in there, maybe a new style plastic ravener, and some bits from a Maulock or Trigon, I think, and then looks like some steam vents from maybe a metal hive tyrant or something like that. But I just wanted to show it. Typically this will be a the beginning will be me unboxing these things and then assembling them and then painting them. But since this one was assembled by a different person, I'm just showing the current assembly, and then I'm going to go ahead and start painting. So that's that. I'm going to go ahead and pause this, get some of my primer preparation ready, and show you what I'm going to do there. Alright guys, second step. Again, I've got my model here. I do most of my priming nowadays. Now that I've got my airbrush, I use the Model Air gray primer. If for whatever reason I end up running out of that, sometimes I'll just use some type of some gray color, Vallejo color that I just water down a little bit more. And then this is just Windex, is what I use to thin my paints down for my airbrush. The mixture I usually use to do my priming is I just do a well, I mix them differently, but it's usually 2 to 1, 2 Windex to 1 paint, which gives me a good consistency and keeps my airbrush fairly clean. And I'm going to do another video sometime here in the near future, basically showing me disassembling and cleaning my airbrush, just so you guys can see how I do that. So I'm going to pause again, get the airbrush colors mixed up here, and do a little priming on camera. Alright everybody, got some paint mixed up. First of all, I'm going to apologize for the air compressor. I know it can get a little loud on these cameras, and if when I'm editing the video, if it seems too loud, I might even just do a little music segment or something over this portion of it. But let's go ahead and get this model primed up here. Alright, got a nice even coat of my gray primer on there. So I'm going to go ahead and let that sit for a few minutes just to get cured up nice and dry, and we'll move on to the next step. Alright guys, this time around I'm going to be using Glacier Blue. I'm going to have 4 drops of this, and then 1 drop of Ice Blue, and then again that's going to be 5 total drops. So I'm going to have 10 drops of my Windex to thin it in the airbrush. And that is my base color that I use for most of these Tyranids that I've been doing, the black ice fleet. And that's basically my base for all the skin portions and everything. Then I come back over and paint with my dark grays and washes and stuff for the carapace. And then highlight again with my ice blues and some other various blues, which again I'll show you those along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and load up the paints and airbrush a little bit more. Alright, there we go, base coated with my light blue color that I've been using for my fleet. So that's actually it for the airbrushing. The rest of it's going to be paintbrush. So we'll move on to the next step. Alright, next step, things I'm going to be using. I've got my 3 paintbrushes here. I've got my Series 7 there for my detail brush. I've got my Citadel base coat brush, which is I'm going to use right now when I go ahead and start painting up all the carapace, bone, talon type stuff. And then the last one back there is the Citadel wash brush, which again I'll be using some washes over the entire model as well. And then I've got my paint palette here, which as you can see, been using several different blue colors here and grays and blacks already on the Army. And then I've just got my rinse water back there. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back again and use my Model Air Gray Primer to do all the carapace type stuff. And the reason I do that is I don't want the jet black right from the beginning, because I'm actually going to go ahead and try something a little different on this doing Malan Tai, because this is the first model in my army that I didn't have plans to do a horde with, you know, termagants, hormagaunts, my gargoyles, stuff like that. I mean, this is going to be a one only type model in the army, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more detail on them. And one of the things I'm going to try to do is I'm actually going to try to fade or blend the gray into midnight blue as it's going down the carapace, and then I'll come back again with my ice blue to highlight the very edges of the carapace. So that's what I'm going to try here. Hopefully it comes out. If not, we'll try something different, but that's the plan. And for this, again, even though it's the Model Air paints and it's considerably thinner already, I'm going to go ahead and still stick to the 2:1. Get out my base coat brush. Get the brush wet a little bit. I haven't used them all week, so bring this up a little bit. I'm just base coating all of these pieces for now. The second layer is what I'll work on trying to do the blending. And again, I'm using the gray more so than just starting off with black. That way I can go ahead and use some of my washes too, my bad eye black later on, and get some nice colors from that as well. So you guys should be getting the idea from that. I'm going to go ahead and pause, and this is what I'm talking about with the new format. Rather than watch me do this entire thing, I'm going to go ahead and finish doing all the carapace and bone type portions in the primer gray here. So be right back.